Hello everybody, welcome to Grassroots Vegan. I'm David Kelly. So I'm back here in Toronto in my apartment. I've been here for just over a week now, back from the tropical rainforest of Costa Rica. And wow, what an experience. I just loved it. My first time being in a tropical rainforest, and where I was staying, it was dense jungle, right beside the Corcovado National Park, which is basically an area that has been preserved by the government so that nobody can build on it, live on it, or exploit it in any manner. So it's more or less like untouched jungle, rainforest, and it's beautiful. I just love being there, you know, sleeping in the tent and waking up to howler monkeys at 4 in the morning. It's fantastic. But, you know, if there's, you know, aside from eating amazing, fresh, ripe, juicy fruit, I did gain a certain perspective being there. If there was one kind of experience that I had that was really significant, it's had somewhat of a, I would say, a lasting impression on me, was the sense of feeling whole. And with that came the realization that my life back here is not necessarily whole. It's compartmentalized. And I think that's the case with many of us. Our lives are compartmentalized, and you know, like look at where I'm living. I'm living in an apartment. An apartment is really just a compartment. I'm in a compartment with, you know, in the midst of a number of other compartments suspended about 60 feet in the air, and you know, even health and fitness is compartmentalized. You know, you pay somebody to teach you how to eat healthy, or you buy books on learning how to eat healthy, and then you pay, you sign up for a gym membership to be physically fit. So, you know, you've got your physical fitness over here, you've got your healthy eating over here, and then, you know, maybe you want peace of mind, so you take a meditation class, so you've got your peace of mind over here, and you want to be more spiritual, so I don't know, maybe you go to church, or you go to a Buddhist monastery, or you go to a mosque, or whatever it is, you know, and for your spirituality, and everything is kind of segregated and put in their compartments, and our life is kind of like that. We've got our work compartment, we've got our car, which is another compartment to get us from A to B. Everything is divided up, split up, and it's like what is representative of life here, to me, is more like a derivative. And I think of that like in terms of the stock market. You can buy derivatives of the market. But it's not actually the market. It's a representative of the market. It's a financial representation of something that itself is not. And it will behave accordingly to what the actual thing it represents behaves. And that's kind of what life is like here. And I'm not dismissing it, saying it's all wrong. It was just a realization that I had when I was in the tropical rainforest of the Osa Peninsula, that I felt really whole, complete, that nothing was separate, that every aspect of my life had come together. The mind, the body, and the spirit was all together, and it felt wonderful. And when I came back, it was a very strange adjustment. It's taken time to adjust back into the compartmentalized lifestyle that I've, you know, been living for, I guess, most of my life. So, you know, I just, on a personal level, I thought, you know, I don't want to live the rest of my life in a series of compartments. I want to be whole. You know, we make an emphasis of eating whole foods, how important it is to eat whole foods and not processed foods, which are really just derivatives of whole foods. And yet, we may get that right, but our life is not necessarily whole. Our mind, body, and spirit might be split up in different compartments. And so I think, and this is where what really hit home for me was that it's not just a matter of eating fresh fruits and vegetables, eating whole foods that are locally grown and that are organic. That's just a small part of the equation. Your whole life has to be whole. You have to be together in mind, body, and spirit. And that was made easy for me during the time that I spent in the tropical rainforest. And why is that? I guess because I was in an ideal environment. I'm sure that if I were to live there on a daily basis, the hardship of living in that kind of environment would quickly come upon me. And I talked to a local there that actually moved in that area from Argentina, and she told me some stories about what it's like to live there. There's a big measure of unpredictability, like flash floods, mudslides, and just nature doing its thing. Even when I was there, there was a volcanic eruption that delayed my flight out of there a day and a half. So that's a part of being in nature, being close to nature, that nature has its own process, and sometimes it will not work out the way that you want it to for your own intentions. And just living close to the land and depending on the land for your support could be a real hardship as well. So I'm aware of that intellectually. I'm not naive to those realities. I don't believe that if you were just to move into the tropical rainforest, that you would have this fantastic, wonderful life. But what it does offer, I believe, is the possibility of being whole. That there's just something about being close to nature. It may not necessarily have to be a tropical rainforest, but there's just something about being close to nature. And I guess living in the city, we get, even our nature is compartmentalized. I have a ravine here, but it's isolated. Nobody's really able to access that ravine. And there's another ravine nearby where we can walk through, but it's fenced off, it's highly controlled so that people don't trample on the areas where plants are growing and stuff. And this is how the city's designed. Everything is controlled, everything is compartmentalized. Where am I going with all of this? I guess what I've got this impression that, and it's creating in me a very strong desire to return to wholeness. And I believe I think we all know what it's like to be whole as children. And as we get older and go through the education system and then get conformed into our society, we become compartmentalized. And this is where we spend the rest of our lives trying to piece it all back together again. And that became very clear to me. And so this is where I'm at right now. I want to bring it all together. I want to be whole. And so that's, I don't know, I don't have a conclusion to this video because really this is an ongoing thing for me. I do intend to go back to Costa Rica and to go back to the area that I was just last week. And I'll probably go in the summertime during the rain season to see what it's like. I plan to stay for a longer period of time. And I'm going to look at properties as well. I'm already looking at properties online. So I'm prepping myself for, I'm not sure. It's kind of scary on one level. It's shaking up my reality, but it's wonderful too. It's exciting. So it's ongoing. Stay tuned.